Hi, everybody, and welcome back to 365 Frugal Tips. So, today's is to, instead of using paper towels, reuse rags. And instead of using all of these expensive and caustic cleaners, try using things like hot water, dish soap, and rubbing alcohol or vinegar. I prefer to sanitize with rubbing alcohol, but I got a set of two of these years ago from Dollar Tree when I did a big road trip because I love to camp. So you can see that the texture pulls most of the, oh, well, maybe you can't. Let me move back. I had rice boil over, so the texture will pull most of the stuff off. And now you're probably thinking, well, that's not clean, it's gross. But the thing is that, I mean, the point of clean, first you've got to get up whatever has spilled, and there's no sense in wasting paper towels and cleaners when you can simply use warm water. So I'll hang that back up to dry. I won't use it for more than a few days, and then I wash it. Then I have rubbing alcohol. I started putting in this little travel container because it's I don't use as much then. And rubbing alcohol obviously costs money. However, it sanitizes and it really makes things shine. So instead of using a Clorox wipe, which is just more trash for the landfill, I am using rags that I can reuse. I think that's something I missed when I had the other rag out. Because I like to have my stove clean, so I'll go over it daily. I mean, maybe if you tend to... Sorry, I cooked my kid something kind of greasy earlier. So maybe if you don't clean your stove as often, it's not as big of an issue for you, but it definitely quickly becomes an issue for me. So I don't actually use this for anything but it's a cutting board, but I just use it to essentially hold stuff on the stove. I also don't use the cast iron because I found that it's a pain. It doesn't work as you would expect. It just makes a mess. So it's easier to pull out a pan. But now I have used pennies to get my stove clean. You can see it's sanitized because of the rubbing alcohol. It's shiny. It looks nice. This is actually a cleaner's trick, and oh my god, best trick ever. So my first apartment in Florida, I had all these little funky ladybug sized beetles that were black and brown. I thought they were outside bugs, so here I was capturing them on paper and releasing them into the great outdoors. Well, turns out that they were not ladybugs, and I discovered that 3 months in when a full-size roach showed up. Freaked out, lost my ever-loving mind, put every chemical that you can imagine into my house, threw out all the cardboard, bagged up all the silverware, kept all food in the fridge, even if it wasn't fridge food. Things like rice and dried goods went in canisters and went in the fridge because I was not going to have roaches in my food. And I discovered in my cleaning, because at that point, I just took the whole big bottle with the cap and like 6 to 10 times a day. After every meal, during meal prep, before meal prep, I was saturating the counter in rubbing alcohol and then wiping it off. And I discovered that roaches absolutely hate it. I don't know if it dries their skin or what, but I was in a 12-unit building and I was the only one in the building. I told them, do not let your pest control guy come in because he drags roaches in on his clothes. I was the only person in the building who didn't have any roaches. And I was right in the middle on the first floor. So I had people above me, people next to me, and I managed to get rid of them. It wasn't just rubbing alcohol. I used multiple things, not any of the Raid stuff, but like the stuff that's like this goo, and it comes in like this huge syringe, and you put it all over, and then the roaches eat it, and then it makes them sterile. They can't reproduce and they can't shed their exoskeleton, so they essentially implode. But totally distracted there. But a really good reason, if you are in an apartment, if you are in a situation where your neighbors aren't as clean and you're in a condo, if you've moved into an old house and you're struggling, or a newer house and you are struggling because you moved in with roaches, I am telling you, rubbing alcohol is key. But I do not have bugs. I do use the rubbing alcohol more sparingly. I just put it in one of these little, I don't know, like 1 to 2 ounce, maybe. I don't know. It's the airplane containers for hairspray. And spray a few sprays, let it sit a couple of seconds, and then wipe it off. Everything's shiny. Everything's sanitized. Works great on chrome. And just to clarify, I mean like chrome fixtures. I don't want anybody saying, my kid dumped alcohol on their computer. I mean chrome fixtures like your faucets. But rubbing alcohol, hot water, dish soap, simplify your cleaning routine, and you can save tons of money. So that's today's frugal tip. And please, if you like hearing ways to save money, I'm sorry, I do tend to rant and ramble. It's kind of who I am. I frequently lose track of thought, as I am again now. So you might end up getting little bonus information with it. Anyways, if you do want to hear more frugal tips, this year's goal for 2025 is to leave a new frugal tip every day. So 365 frugal tips for living before 2026. Because as everything gets tighter and everything's more expensive and taxes go up and food prices go up and gas goes up and utilities go up and mortgages go up and your rents go up, and you can barely even like figure out how to get from point A to point B financially. I have been living frugally for years. I have made it through many tough times, and I am here this year to share those tips with you so you can avoid the crunch. So if you want to hear all my tips, please hit like and subscribe, and then I'll see you with another tip tomorrow.